Before I start, also from my side, thank you to the ChangeNOW team. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much. Now, 40% of all of us in this room will develop cancer in their lives. Maybe her, maybe him, maybe you. What we don't know either, it's not only who's going to develop, but when they're going to develop it and where. Meaning in which organ. The World Health Organization has called cancer a global pandemic. 9 million people die of cancer every year. That's 1 out of 6 deaths. It's not only a tragedy of humanity, but it's also a huge economic burden. Only in the US, $1.2 trillion are spent every year on cancer, especially on cancer treatment and all the associated costs. That's 2% out of GDP. What can we do? Well, a healthy lifestyle helps. Eating healthy, not smoking, drinking little alcohol, and doing sports are all great things. But I'm pretty sure there's one of you who's going to remember the grandfather or the grandmother smoked all of their lives and never developed cancer. So there's no clear cause and effect relationship here. What we know, however, is a basic fundamental. 90% of all cancers can be cured if they're detected early. And that's where we, as Universal Diagnostics, take our mission. We want to detect cancer with a simple blood drop, non-invasive, highly accurate, so we make cancer a curable disease. So you will go to your general practitioner, and as you're taking various different health tests, you will also take the Universal Diagnostics test. And it will tell you 2 things. Either A, negative, good news, we'll see you again next year, or positive, and it will recommend you follow on treatment. The first cancer we focus on is colorectal cancer. It's one of the most frequent and one of the most deadly cancers there is. It affects a huge amount of population. Only in Europe and the US, the screening guidelines for colorectal cancer include the population between 50 and 74 years old. That's 400 million people, only in those 2 regions alone. It's a huge market. And colorectal cancer has exactly that pattern where early detection matters so much. If colorectal cancer is diagnosed in stage 1, your survival rate is 94%. If it is diagnosed in stage 4, that drops to 10% survival rate. So it's absolutely critical that we get this at the beginning. Now, the good news is that colorectal cancer doesn't just develop in an instant. It takes 5 to 10 years to develop. From a clean colon to a cancer. Where we need to be is, we need to detect the cancers and the pre-cancer stage. We need to be in the prevention zone. Now, there are tests out there. Any one of you who's done a colonoscopy knows what I'm talking about. There are fecal tests out there. There's also a blood test, but they're usually not precise. Colonoscopy is very expensive, and fecal tests usually only detect late-stage cancers. So there's a huge opportunity for a simple blood test. We're using omics technologies, means genomics, where we look at mutation and methylation markers, as well as metabolomics, to detect patterns between healthy and ill patients. And of course, for that pattern recognition, we need machine learning algorithm to make sense out of the data and get the good diagnosis. At last year's Gastroenterology Congress, we presented an abstract that shows that we're able to differentiate between healthy patients and patients with advanced adenomas, so the pre-cancer stage. No other test except the colonoscopy can do that. That makes us unique because it basically means that we're preventing cancer. It won't happen because you can actually deal with it before it appears. That's ChangeNOW. That's the opportunity. That's where we make real change. We need to finalize our test now, then get it through clinical validation, get the regulatory approvals, and start commercialization. For that, we are raising a round of 50 million euros to get to that point. We are a small, great team in Seville and San Francisco that is united by one vision: making cancer a curable disease. Thank you very much.